It is 4 p.m. We're bringing you the developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Patrick Paez.
And I'm Lingao. Our headlines is Thursday, April 4. 9 people killed while over 1,000 are injured in a magnitude 7.2 earthquake that jolted Taiwan yesterday, April 3. The tremor was the strongest one to hit Taiwan in 25 years. In Japan, a magnitude 6 earthquake struck off the east coast of Honshu earlier today. There are no immediate reports of casualties or damage. Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Arsenio Balisacan says the Philippines is still on track to reach upper middle income status in 2025. He notes that the government's growth target of 6 to 7% is still within range.
And the Supreme Court upheld the validity of former Senator Manny Trillanes' amnesty. It also ruled that former President Rodrigo Duterte's revocation of the amnesty was unconstitutional. The pardon was granted by the late President Noynoy Aquino back in 2010. And retired Armed Forces officer Victor Corpus has died. Corpus was a member of the Philippine Military Academy class of 1967. He's known for his defection from the AFP defection from the AFP to the New People's Army in 1971. Corpus was granted amnesty by the Cory Aquino administration in 1986.
And joining us on this Storycon this Thursday, Marie Pamintuan, the editor-in-chief of the Philippine Star. Hi, Ami. And of course,
Hi.
One News Defense Editor, Tito Manny Mogato.
Hello.
Okay, whenever we have money around, it's usually about security.
Yeah.
We have Manny Mogato is our One News Defense and Security Editor. But before we go into with Manny, Ami, ano ang banner bukas most likely ng the Philippine Star?
Puro naghihintay pa kami. Related to security, magkakaroon ng press conference ng National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. Iniintay natin yon mga 4:15 pa daw eh. So, related dyan sa NPA, nabanggit nyo si Victor Corpus. And of course, we're waiting for Apollo Quiboloy to be arrested sometime today. Kung matutuloy,
sometime today? Para sigurado sila.
Hintay-hintay eh. Saka inintay ko pa explanation
Arrest
ko
ko,
na
surrender.
ibig sabihin ni President Marcos.
Okay,
He wants a comprehensive solution to the traffic problem.
Okay.
Yan, hinihintay ko pa yung detalye nun.
Now, speaking of developments on the Quiboloy arrest warrant, we have Jenny Dongon on the line. Jenny Dongon from News 5. Jenny, what do you have for us today?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. At ngayon nga this morning ay sumuko na yung dalawa pa sa mga akusado na kasama ni Pastor Apollo Quiboloy dito nga sa kasong child abuse. At ayon nga sa NBI, kinilala nila sila Jacqueline Roy at Ingrid Canada at kapwa itong mga personal assistant ni Apollo Quiboloy. Actually, nagpadala daw ng surrender sealers itong dalawang akusado matapos ngang sumuko kahapon yung tatlo pa nilang kasamahan. Pero dahil alam nga natin na available naman yung tong kasong child abuse, this morning, pagkasapit ng tanghali, agad silang nagtungo sa Justice Hall dito sa Davao City at nagpiyansa ng 80,000 pesos. So itong 5 akusado na kasama ni Pastor Quiboloy sa kasong child abuse ay nakapagpiyansa na at nirelease na muna ng NBI. So ang hinahanap na lang ngayon ng NBI ay itong si Pastor Apollo Quiboloy na dalawa nga yung kinakaharap na kaso, sexual abuse at child abuse. Ang problema, available ito. So tinanong natin yung NBI, Sir Ed, kung ano yung mangyayari dahil nga available naman itong kaso, oras na ma-aresto siya, papakawalan din ba nila katulad nitong ginawa nila sa mga sumuko. Ang sabi ng NBI ay maaari nilang i-hold dahil nga hihintayin din nila itong sasabihin ng Senado dahil nga may arrest order siya. So aalamin nila ngayon kung ano yung magiging proseso niyan. So ngayon daw ay ongoing yung pakikipag-usap nila sa mismong abogado ni Quiboloy para nga mag-surrender. Sumurrender na rin itong si Pastor dahil sa 4 na properties simula kahapon until today, 4 na properties ni Quiboloy dito sa Davao City na pinuntahan ng NBI at mga pulis ni anino ni Quiboloy, wala sila nakita.
So wala pang indikasyon kung siya ay
surrender.
hindi.
Oh.
Walang feelers from Pastor Quiboloy.
Wala, sir. wala pong feelers. Ang nagpabigay lang ng feelers so far itong dalawang sumuko kaninang umaga.
Okay, Jenny, alam ba natin kung may mga requests o demand si Pastor Quiboloy para sumukot, magpakita?
Ang sinabi lang sa atin, yes sir, ang sinabi lang sa atin ng NBI kanina, no, tinanong kasi namin, sir, paano ba yung processing na pakipag-usap natin with abogado ni Quiboloy? Ang sabi niya, nakikipag-negosasyon kami para kusa na siyang sumuko. Pero go deeper pa dyan, hindi na sinabi ng NBI dahil nga ongoing yung kanilang pakikipag-negosasyon. Kung ano ba yung usapin nila doon sa negosasyon na yon, wala pa silang binibigay na detalye sa atin.
Pero Jenny, si Pastor ba ay nasa Davao lang o lumabas na ng Davao at kailangan ng bansa?
Ang sabi ng NBI ay confident naman sila na nandito pa sa Davao itong si Pastor Quiboloy at nakipag-coordinate na rin sila sa BI at sabi naman ng BI ay hindi pa nakakalabas ng Pilipinas itong si Quiboloy, sir.
Ayun, thank you.
Okay. Yan ang komplikasyon dyan kasi bagamat bailable dun sa RTC case, wala namang bill dun sa bill ng Senado at ng Kongreso. So they could hold him basically indefinitely or until matapos yung inquiry as ruled by the Supreme Court in 2020.
Conceivably, this could be part of the negotiation siguro.
Malamang the Senate
pinag-uusapan nila.
plays a major part in his decision whether or not to surrender
Pero
to the police.
yung Senado at Kongreso hindi pa in session, di ba? Naka-break pa sila.
Naka-break pa.
Naka-Easter break, no?
So following the Supreme
Pero
Court's
merong mga
decision on that
committee na
matter,
nag-hearing hanggang ngayon. Ang Senate. Saka tatanong ko lang sana si Jenny, iniisip ba ng NBI na kasi fugitive ng status ngayon ni Quiboloy eh. Nag-iisip din ba sila na file ng ng harboring a fugitive yung mga nagtatago kay Quiboloy? Is that a possibility?
Hindi pa nila nabanggit yung bagay na yan, ma'am. Kasi nga ngayon, ang kausap pa daw nila ay yung abogado. So, parang confident naman yung NBI na susuko anytime soon itong si Quiboloy dahil nga sumuko na itong kanyang dalawang personal assistant today. So, sana raw, sumuko rin. So, pero ang sinabi niya nga, tama nga po, ang sinabi niya, tinutuloy na nilang fugitive o pugante itong si Quiboloy, kaya dapat ay sumuko na rin ito. Kasi
Jenny.
ngayon po, dahil ngayon sir, habol ko lang Sir Ed, no? Dahil nga ngayon, nagbumuo na sila ng tracker team together with itong NBI, PNP at intelligence community para mahanap si Quiboloy, hindi lang dito sa Davao, hindi lang dito sa Mindanao, kundi kung nasaan man siya dito sa Pilipinas ngayon.
Yun, intelligence fund, magamit sa...
May tracker team, ha? Gano'n naman kaya ka-epektibo yung tracker?
Pero Jenny, yung bang kasamang NBI, yun ay Manila NBI or Davao NBI?
Dito po sa Davao Region.
Local.
Region po yung gumagalaw dito ngayon.
I was wondering lang kasi if they were keeping tabs on Quiboloy even before the arrest warrant was issued or they only started talaga keeping tabs on him or at least tried to nung lumabas na yung arrest warrant.
Nagsimula na silang i-track ito, sir, nung nakiusap yung may hearing dyan sa Senate.
Okay.
So, sinatrack na nila kung saan nasaan si Quiboloy. At nung time nga na the other day, nila natanggap yung warrant of arrest na inilabas ng Branch 12 dito sa Davao City, in-implement na agad nila ito doon sa mga akusado.
Okay, Jenny.
Jenny, meron bang nabubuo dyan na mga mass protest? Malaki rin ang mga ang suporta dyan ni Apollo Quiboloy eh. Meron bang nag-uumpisa dyan ng mga rally-rally?
So far sa ngayon po ay tahimik naman dito pa sa Davao City. Inikutan din natin yung Kingdom at yung sa Prayer Mountain. So far kalmado pa naman yung mga members ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Pero yung PNP nakahanda naman daw in case na halimbawang magkaroon ng mga rally at kung halimbawang lumutang na ito si Quiboloy, for sure, meron daw mga mag-rally kung saan naman siya pansamantalang i-detain, handa naman daw yung PNP.
Okay, kung wala na kayong tanong, wala na natin si Jenny Dongon. Okay, Jenny Dongon, maraming salamat sa oras mo. That was Jenny Dongon reporting from Davao City.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
She mentioned that she was able to go inside the compound. From inside.
Sa Glory Mountain, sa Prayer Mountain.
Kalmado naman daw yung sitwasyon sa loob, but I understand a few weeks back, may malaking rally na ginanap dito sa Manila no? marami doon sa mga followers ni
Yes.
Pastor Quiboloy. Oo. So may capacity sila to mobilize people talaga.
Oo, pero hindi ko lang alam kung maraming member ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ sa Metro Manila. Palagay ko sa Davao, doon marami.
Doon marami.
Oo, doon marami. Oo.
As per their own count ata, 5 million sila eh. As per their own count.
5 million sa Davao lang o lahat-lahat na.
I think all in all.
All
But
in all.
again, that's their own count.
Tsaka meron sa Ukraine.
May mga
Oo,
Ukrainian
may
na.
mga Ukrainian eh.
O sige. O saan tayo? Well, si Victor Corpus. Oh, di ba kababata mo to?
Yes.
Ano?
Hindi naman. Oo.
Class of 1967.
Pero na-cover mo,
PMA.
Manny.
Na-cover ko yan. Alam mo si Vic Corpus, very colorful ang buhay. No? Nung teniente siya na-assign sa PMA, ni-raid niya yung armory ng PMA. No? At ginawa niya yung armas at dinala sa NPA.
Chinempuan niya na yung superintendent ng PMA
Bakasyon. Christmas break.
nakabakasyon.
Oo.
Tapos parang officer in charge yata siya o ano.
Oo. So niransak niya yung armory, dinala niya sa NPA yung mga armas.
Actually, pinapasok niya isang grupo ng mga NPA para ransakin yung armory. Tapos pag ransak nila, sabay na siyang nag-defect.
Oo,
Kasama na
nag-defect,
nila
oo.
palabas. Oo. At
Pero-
that time nung nangyaring raid sa PMA armory na yan in 1970 of December, he was still an instructor the military
Yes,
academy.
teniente siya noon, teniente. No? Palagay ko si Vic na-involved doon sa MB Karagatan.
In his autobiographical account, kasama siya doon sa mga supposedly kukuha ng mga baril na galing China.
Oo.
They trekked for 71 days across the Sierra Madre
Manny,
Mountains.
kailangan
Isabela.
ipaalala niyo ko sa mga viewer natin kung ano yung MB Karagatan.
Okay.
Una-una, I think we need to mention si General Vic Corpus
Sierra Madre,
namayapa na.
pinag-uusapan, hindi na
Namayapa na.
Karagatan.
Mamaya pa na po, sorry.
Kaya na pinag-uusapan dahil namaya pa siya today.
Kaya natin pinag-usapan dahil medyo colorful yung kanyang military career.
Yes,
diba?
oo. Kasi
Napaka-colorful.
nakabalik siya sa military, no? Through his classmates, no?
Una-una, bumaliktad.
Baliktad,
No,
oh.
Nag-NPA, tapos
Sumurrender,
bumalik sa military.
sa military.
Sumuko.
oo.
Oo.
At naging general pa.
Hindi lang yun. Sumulat,
Yes.
siya yung pinaka naging author ng AFP strategy
Oh, yun lang bitag.
against New People's Army.
Kasi alam na ang galaw ng NPA, kaya sinulat niya yung Oplan Lambat Bitag.
Yeah.
Yan.
And
Very
the
successful
Silent
yan. Kasi yung NPA, nung panahon ni Cory, nung sisimula siya, is around 25,000, no? Nung naupo si B. Corpus dyan sa Operations Department ng J3, no? Siya yung ginawa sa combat development, ginawa niya yung Lambat Bitag. So, nung maupo si Fidel Ramos, bumaba ang numero ng NPA from 25,000 to 5,000. Laki ng binaba.
In a nutshell, Manny, what was Lambat Bitag? I understand it's like turning the strategy of the NPA against its own, di ba? Parang
Yes.
inadapt nila yung strategy
Parang
ng NPA.
Venus Fly.
Oo.
Oh, yung Venus Trap.
Venus flight
Venus
trap.
Trap. Oh, Venus Fly Trap. Oo. Na
Bitin ako sa Venus Fly.
papasukin mo yung NPA. Tapos
Lalambatin mo.
Lambatin mo. Oo. Parang
Pero
Parang
Manny,
isda,
may binanggit
no?
din siya
May
about
pan.
di ba, yung interesting, yung tungkol sa Plaza Miranda. Meron siyang interesting yung sinabi niya doon eh. Ewan ko lang kung
Yeah, dahil at
kung
one
ano
point
yung
kasi
tama
he
dyan
was
sa
already,
version ng mga istorya dyan.
Well, that was the reason, Ami, that he decided to leave the New
Yes.
People's Army in 1976 and surrender to
Yes.
the government. He was among those na communist leaders na who felt na medyo to them mali yung ginawa allegedly ng New People ng CPP-NPA sa pagbobomba doon sa Plaza Miranda.
Oh, pero
Yun ang gusto
pero bago siya nakabalik sa serbisyo, si B. Corpus na-try ng military court. No? May death sentence siya nung panahon ni Marcos.
At saka kahit na sumuko siya sa gobyerno, no, nagbalik loob, kinulong pa rin siya.
Kinulong, oo.
Kinulong pa rin siya, oo. It wasn't like pinakawalan siya.
For 10 years, no?
Until Cory came.
76 to 86.
Cory ang
Yes.
nagpardo sa kanya eh. Cory.
76 siya sumuko eh.
Oh. Teka muna, sino ba yung sa pelikula niya, yung gumanap
Si
sa...
Rudy Fernandez.
Rudy
di ba?
Rudy
Fernandez.
Fernandez. Yes, oh.
Get Victor Corpus.
Ayun, oh. Pero si General Corpus naging ISAP head nung panahon ni Gloria Arroyo, no? Nung panahon ng Oakwood mutiny sa Makati. Siya yung nakaupong ISAP.
Intelligence. Ang isa
Oo.
po ay ang intelligence service ng
Intelligence
AFP.
Service of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Yeah.
At eventually, forced to resign.
Nag-tree
Kasi,
planting.
ano yun, Manny?
Tree planting.
Nag-tree planting. I think nauna yung tree planting nung
Oo.
sinusulat niya yung Silent War, yung libro,
Oo.
nagti-tree planting na siya
Tree
nun sa
planting,
Panay.
Hindi, kasi dinadawit siya ng mutinies ng Oakwood doon sa Davao bombings.
Yung siya ng...
2003, may 31 tayong patay. Oakwood mutineers are blaming him for either being part of the plot or for being remiss in stopping it.
And
So, Manny, kung successful yung Lambak Bitag, ano compared sa yung status ng NPA noon sa ngayon? Ano ang tingin mo sa NPA? Kasi
mas mahina na ngayon ang-
military nag-declare na ng strategic victory last year pa eh.
Oo, kasi mas mahina na ang NPA ngayon, no? Lumalabas,
Talagang mahina na.
Lumalabas sa intelligence assessment ng ISAP, parang less than 2,000 na lang ang kanilang fighters, ano? At nakakonsentrate sa Samar at Mindanao, no? Although may mga panakanakang bakbakan sa Mountain Province, sa Negros, sa Panay, sa Mindoro, pero yung bulk talaga ng NPA ngayon nasa Samar, no? At nasa Southern Mindanao, no? Yan sa may alam mo sa Caraga. Kasi
Eastern.
kasi marami diyang banana plantation eh. Mabubuhay yung mga NPA sa saging. Tsaka marami ding mining companies na binapakada nila.
Yes.
Yun.
paliwanag mo, Manny, ibig sabihin ng bakalan.
Ay, inihinga nila ng revolutionary tax.
So may basis nga yung declaration of strategic victory sa tingin mo?
May basis yun. Kasi talagang mahina na. Kaya nung panahon ni Pangulong Marcos, nag-shift na yung military to external defense, no?
Pangulong Marcos, Manny.
Pangulong Marcos. Itong...
Itong Marcos ito. Part
Marcos.
2, okay.
Part 2.
Kala ko panahon pa lang ni
hindi.
Pangulong Duterte.
Kasi nung panahon si Pangulong Duterte, ang focus niya is counter-insurgency, di ba? Gusto niya durugin yung NPA, no? Pero nung panahon
Marcos
ni Bongbong Marcos, dineclare niya na tapos ng NPA, mag-ano tayo, external defense na kasi South China Sea ang focus ngayon.
Iba na kalaban.
Iba na kalaban. Pero komunista rin.
Pero,
Pero kailangan pa ba makipag-usap? Kailangan pa ba makipag-usap sa NDF, Manny?
Ay, meron pa rin usapan.
Kailangan pa ba nag-explore ngayon? Exploratory talks ngayon eh.
Hanggang explore
Kailangan
lang.
pa ba makipag-usap?
Siguro para mapabalik yung mga gustong surrender.
Kasi nagkaroon ng isang tinatawag na parties, Communist Party document, yung
rectification.
third rectification. In short, Ami, parang after that exploratory talks I think in Norway that they did
Yes.
with this BBM government, nagkaroon ng third rectification yung CPP-NPA, and in which basically sinasabi na back to basics sila. Their analysis of the problems in Philippine society has not changed, and it basically calls for same old strategy na
Encircle the cities from the...
parang gano'n. Basically, hindi sila nagbabago
Hindi nagbago.
ng posisyon ng CPP-NPA.
protracted guerrilla warfare.
Hindi
Encircling
nila
the cities from the
ini-abandon.
countryside.
So the question there is, what happens next to yung exploratory talks na yan? Wala na yan.
Di natin alam, dahil parang di gumagalaw eh.
Hindi gumagalaw.
Hindi gumagalaw. No? Pero,
Isa pang tanong dyan, Manny, sino ngayon yung pumalit?
ayun na natin kilala. No?
Hanggang ngayon, wala pa lumalabas
Wala
sa
pa
pangalan.
lumalabas. Pero ang mga usap-usapan, kundi si Alan Asbines, si Vic Dadlad, yung bagong head ng CPP, NPA.
These two people, Alan Jasmines and Vic Ladla, they belong to the original generation.
The old generation.
So Manny, matatanda na rin.
Nako, over 70.
Yes.
Over 70.
Bakit walang sumunod na second generation
Nalaglag
sa
sila
CPP leadership?
Dahil nung kampanya, nung panahon ni Fidel Ramos, naubos yung
Next
second
in line
generation.
dapat. Bakit?
Naubos kasi namatay sa gera.
Nag-purging.
Tapos nag-purging din.
Nag-purging. I think
Sila
purging,
mismo, pinatay nila yung mga kasama nila.
Oo.
So, yung mga mas bata na mga mas radikal, hindi natin kilala. No? Kung sino-sino
When you say mas batang radikal, what generation to, Manny? Mga...
siguro mas bata sa atin. mga
Kaya nga, so nananalo na nga gobyerno. Pero paano naman yung sa political? Ano yung sitwasyon ngayon ng kasi meron din silang di political arm ang Communist Party.
Tsaka marami silang
naman sa
above
tingin mo
ground.
ang status noon ngayon?
Marami silang above ground na organization, no? Na sinasabi ng NTF-ELCAC, itong mga Bayan Muna, mga Grabiela, KMU, mga communist
Pare-red tagging ka dyan.
Hindi, sinasabi ng military.
May attribution naman siya.
Oo, hindi ko sinasabi. Sinasabi ng NTF-ELCAC. Pero siyempre,
nakita natin yung performance nila ng eleksyon. Anong tingin mo
dinidinayan
doon?
ng mga nasa parliament, no? Lalo na yung nasa kongreso, yung Makabayan Bloc.
So Manny, matagal mo kinover yung yung defense at saka AFP. So anong
Since 80s.
yung from 25,000 fighters, ang dami niyan, and operating in almost entire Philippines,
40%, 20% ng barangays natin.
down to 2,000 fighters now. Okay. What was it the success of Lambat Bitag, or was it tumatanda ng mga leaders nila?
Well, maraming factors, Isa na dyan yung economic development. No? Kasi pag gumaganda ang buhay ng mga Pilipino, nakakalimutan yung pakibaka, no?
Cellphone siguro kasama dyan.
Kasama ng cellphone dyan.
Tsaka internet.
Oo. Kasi ngayon, marami ng outlet na kung paano mo mag-rant, di ba? Sa gobyerno, mag-rant sa kani-kanino. Sa social media lang, dami ng garant
So there was really no decisive military victory against
Meron
the
din.
People's Army.
Kasi malaki din yung naitulong nung combat operation. Kasi triad yan Combat operation, intelligence, saka civil military operation. No? Yung civil military operation, yan yung winning the hearts and minds ng ating mamayan. No? So, nung dumating si Pangulong Duterte, yung EO-70, di ba?
NTF-ELCAC.
Yung NTF-ELCAC, Whole of Nation Approach. Magkano yung ilang bilyon nilagay ng gobyerno sa barangay, development. So, ibig sabihin, naramdaman ng mga tao sa iba't ibang lugar, yung klase ng development, may mga kalsada na, may telepono, yung ekonomiya, gumanda, no? So, in short, nawalan ng reason yung ating mga mamayan na magrebelde, no? Kasi actually ang pagrebelde dahil sa injustice, poverty, illiteracy, no? Negligence, no? Kung na-address na yan ng gobyerno through economic development at social justice, malaking improvement yan. Kasi naalala ko si...
Manny, hindi pa yan na-address lahat.
Hindi pa talaga.
Lahat yan serious problem pa natin.
Hindi pa. Nandiyan pa yan.
Bakit humina yung insurgency kahit
So I wonder,
nag-persist pa yung mga problema na yan?
yun nga, Ami, I wonder, Manny, if it is the success of the military strategy or the economic reforms,
Combination.
Or was it
it's
the failure of the movement
internal
itself?
internal
kasama
problems within
yung
the movement.
failure ng movement.
Kasi we were talking kanina about parang nawala yung mga second liners
Oo,
ng next
kasi
generation.
pinatay nila
Possibly, that's one thing Baka dahil nga sa
Purging.
number one, purging. Number
It's
two,
a confluence of events.
Number two, yung pagbiyak ng dalawa.
Oo.
Sa dalawa. So,
Hindi lang. Alam mo, yung
Tawagan nila
NPA,
ako, giniling eh.
Oo.
Naka-ilang paksyon ng
Ilan na,
breakaway yan.
siguro mga 7, 8 na eh.
Oo.
Yung faction ng NPA.
So nalusaw din yung, yung
oo.
second liners.
Hindi na siya coherent na organization. No? Hindi na cohesive. So, malaking bagay yung confluence of events. No? Sabihin natin na yung development hindi talaga naka-apekto, pero merong konting tulong. No? Kasi nga, naalala ko si General Segovia, yung dating intelligence. Nung na-appoint siya na Division Commander sa Davao, meron siyang weekly na outreach, no? Sa mga barangay sa Davao. At ang haba ng pila, alam mo saan? Doon sa mga may kaso. Yung mga inagawang lupa, inagawang kalabaw, ninakaw yung ganito, masyadong naagrabyado yung pamilya, no? So, mas mahaba daw yun kaysa doon sa medical dental.
Kaya usong-usong ang mga tulpo.
Oo.
Ami, I remember attending a Senate hearing, Senate investigation on the insurgency. They went down on the ground in Davao. Okay. Surprisingly, it was a security committee hearing, Defense and Security Committee hearing in Davao, held by the senators. And yet, ang pinakamalaking problema na dinulog ng mga tao yung kontrobersya sa Pepsi 349.
Tama. Oh.
So, doon pa lang, ito was a big revelation na nag-iba yung
concern.
Iba yung concern ng tao.
Oo.
At that time.
Hindi,
Nag-iba
actually,
na,
hindi poverty.
Hindi na
poverty.
social justice,
Oo.
hindi na wasn't ideology, it wasn't social justice. It was Pepsi 349. Yun yung, muntik magkagulo dahil sa 349 na yan, di ba?
Oo. Tsaka yung talagang major concern ng ating tao ay yung injustice. Yung nangyayari sa ground, no?
Ito, injustice ng Pepsi.
Oo. Hindi binigay yung winnings eh.
Oo. Konting background sa Pepsi 349 po. This is in the books, on how not to conduct a campaign, a promotional campaign. I think may ano yan, di ba? May winning siya, combination,
May winnings,
parang lottery Titingnan mo yung ilalim ng tansa ng bottle cap kung ikaw yung nanalo. Okay, nangyari, ang pinanalo na ng numero, yung pinaka-common na numero, 349. Yun. So, ang dami. Libo-libo were demanding their winnings.
Yeah. Si Direk ay pinakagap na tayo. Baka patuloy tayo ni Direk. You're watching Storycon on One News. We are taking a break. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group. We've got the developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Patrick Paez.
I'm Ed Lingao. Also with us, Philippine Star Editor-in-Chief Ana Marie Pamintuan and One News Defense Editor Tito Manny Mogato. Okay, let's talk about surveys. Let's bring in Professor Rajit Rai from the Octa Research Group. Sir, magandang hapon and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, sir.
Magandang hapon to the whole panel and to those listening and watching.
Yes, sir. Sir, never too early to talk about politics in this country. Naglabas ng survey results for the Senate slate award for the Senate, ang Octa Research. And I was looking at the names
Puro tulpo.
That's one.
Are you guys surprised?
Well, I guess, I guess
well, yeah,
not.
that's true, no? Yeah, they did very well in this survey.
Uh-huh.
And this is the
Top
first
five.
time we included Ben Tulfo's name.
Pero sir, kayo, from your point of view, any surprises here? Were there any names that you did not expect or were there names that you expected that did not get in?
Well, it's pretty much the majority of those who are making the top 12 are incumbent senators. Okay, that's no surprise. What was different or distinct was really the entry of Ben Tulfo in the list, and I think he created a slight disruption in the rankings because he did very well in this particular survey.
Okay,
He also cut into our suspicion into the votes of his brother Erwin Tulfo, who used to be in the mid-70s before this particular survey.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Second thing that was surprising is the slight decline of Ivy Marcos.
Oh,
Who was
nasa
in the
dulo.
top 5. Now she's in the
6 to 12.
well, she's within 6 to 12. Yeah.
Okay,
Third number
Professor.
went down slightly. Yeah.
Okay, Professor. Before we proceed, was this survey aided? I mean, were the respondents given a list of names, or this is top of their mind?
Okay. So the survey was conducted from March 11 to 14, and the survey was aided. There was a list. It's the same list we ran 3 quarters ago,
Okay.
Yeah.
except for the inclusion of Ben Tulfo. Of course, we have 1,200 respondents, face-to-face interview. This is a multi-stage sampling exercise with a margin of error plus minus 3%.
Okay.
So, yeah.
An aided list, and Mr. Ben Tulfo's name was included in it. Okay. I just wonder, normally, Mr. Professor Rai, when you have possible candidates with same last names, di ba usually nag-aagawan yan, naglalaglagan yan, it results in them lowering in the rankings. In this case, pareho sila mataas, nasa top 5.
Yes, oh. Dito na di
Yeah,
Estrada.
it's a testament to the brand. Yeah, you're correct. You'll see it in the same list. You'll see the names of former President Rodrigo Duterte and his 2 sons. So the 2 sons are much lower in ranking than the father. That's the tendency.
So that's new.
Professor.
That's also new. That's news. The two Duterte sons are in the top 20, I think. No.
Yeah.
That was also aided. Their names are put in the
Yes,
list.
sir. Yes, sir.
May we know
Professor,
why? May we know why, Mr.
Ilan yung
Mr.
names
Rai?
na sinupply nyo?
I think we had a total of almost 60 names there. 60, more than 60 names.
60 names.
Yeah.
And how did you
Yeah.
select? How did you select the names?
We have a list, and there are, of course, names supplied by subscribers.
Okay.
But we have a list that included the Duterte for some time now.
Okay. Where were the names of the two Duterte sons, Polong and Baste, were they requested by subscribers?
So I included Baste, this is my own personal inclusion, after the event last January.
Okay.
And he did pretty well. I forgot that Baste was also included the first time. Yeah, I was included for the first time in this particular quarter.
Professor, parang...
Kasi I'm asking about the selection of the names. Kasi sabi nung iba, well, we got complaints before na kinocondition daw yung minds ng mga voters. Lalo ganito na 1 year to go na lang before the campaign. And yun ang sinasabi nila about the pollsters. Do you agree with that? Na nakokondisyon daw yung minds ng mga tao na ito yung lalabas. Kasi ang taas-taas na ng name recall ng mga yan. At nawawalan daw ng, it leaves no room for relative unknowns na qualified naman na pumasok sa listahan. What do you say about those observations?
Well, we don't have data to support the observation. We're trying to look for, we're still studying if there is some sort of effect, surveys in terms of mind conditioning. But to no avail, we have no data right now to substantiate that argument. What everyday Filipinos can do is compare our survey, let's say, with other prestigious survey firms. Pulse Asia came out with theirs. And you'll notice that there's a certain sense, consistency in the top 12. So except for let's say Abby Binay, in their survey, our survey looks exactly like theirs.
Okay. Right.
Nawala ba siya?
Professor,
Did he get cut off?
Professor, I've also
Nakaka-off
noticed,
ba siya?
I also noticed
Yes, sir.
na si Pangulong Duterte had a slight decline, no? Dati parang number 3 siya, number 2, no? Ngayon number 5 na.
Yeah.
Saan po na-attribute yan, yung pagbagsak ng survey numbers ni Pangulong Duterte?
Well, in our survey, sir, the decline is very slight. Yeah. We have other survey probes that we will release next week that will show that the Duterte brand is still alive and kicking and still quite influential.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've been trying to track that since the dynamics we saw last January. And so what we're seeing essentially is that the Duterte brand is still there. It's still popular, and it is still strong in their bailiwick,
Sir,
which is Mindanao and Central Visayas.
yes, sir. Sir, I'm looking at the names again. Parang, tell me if I'm getting this right, pero parang the impression I'm getting is that klarong mag-iibang definisyon at ang konstitusyon ng oposisyon. kasi clearly, if you follow this and you look at the list of senators who are going to stay, of course, for the next 3 years, iba lang oposisyon sa Senado.
Oo. Si Dito Lapid, laglag dyan, di ba?
I mean, kung pumasok si Tati Diggs, di ba?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, what do you think?
Well, the definition of the opposition is hard to conceptualize now. Who is the opposition? We're not certain now who will constitute that opposition. It looks like, in the interim, it seems like Marcos versus Duterte, no? But the legitimate opposition still has a chance to come in. This is a first quarter survey.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers will still change.
Okay. Sir, what quarter? The
First
first quarter of next year?
Yeah, first quarter survey of 2024.
Yes, sir.
This
sir,
year.
All of these
this year.
numbers will still change, especially when we start the campaign next year, no? Or when the candidate file their candidacy
That's true,
in
yes, sir.
October.
Yes, sir. Pero sir, but looking at the numbers, sir, parang ang looking at the numbers, parang medyo mahirap pataubin. Not unless something marvelously huge occurs politically. Mukhang mas mahirap siyang...
Professor Rai, looking at the same list, I wonder what this says about the mood of the public, the Filipino people. Kasi parang itong top 12, at least most of them, parang iisa lang ang tabas, iisang brand. You've got two Tulfos, you've got a Soto, Duterte, Lacson, De La Rosa, Bato, Pacquiao, Bong Revilla. Medyo, when I say iisang tabas, parang it's very macho block.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wonder what this says about the current sentiment of the electorate.
Well,
And what they
I
want.
think the electorate is, my sense is the electorate is voting for established political names.
Okay?
This particular midterm election is going to be tough because there are established political names, incumbent, there are returnees who are very well, very prominent political families. The competition is going to be very, very high. And when you look at the top 20, the differences are very slight. So it's very competitive midterms. That's the first thing. And number two, our estimation, based on the last 3 surveys, is that the first 8 seats are almost locked, no? They consistently among these people. Yeah, so there are very few seats that are loose, no? So the competition is quite high. And of course, we're not sure everyone is in the list is going to run. We're not sure if President is going to run. So that will change the complexion also.
Professor, you're undertaking other surveys. May nasa-sense ba? And you're a political science professor. You think yung popularity nila Duterte is affecting the popularity of the Marcoses? May connection ba na pag malakas yung kabila, mahina yung kabila?
Hindi naman ganun yung correlation.
Wala.
It's just that, okay, there's a probe we're going to release very soon, but we're still trying to process it. Where the initial impression is people want the unity to continue to stay united. People
continue. United pa ba?
But I doubt very much. From our standpoint, it's hard to put them together. Yeah, but the impact of the split that became evident in January is a decline in the numbers of many of the key players. So when you look at the president, the vice president, their numbers are also affected. We will come with a probe, no, the formal probe in the next few days. So
Okay, are they both bringing each other down? Kasi nagbabanatan sila eh. Yun, pwede ba yun? Meron bang connection
Yeah,
yun?
I think so. I think so. There's an impact. The biggest impact here in the Senate poll is the numbers of Senator Amy Marcos. So, she was in the top 5 for 3 quarters. Relatively stable vote at 40%. 38 to 40%. Now she's gone down. These are these numbers changed. Yeah, and the sentiment changed. So I think our viewers have to be informed about that. These numbers are not set in stone. So it's a dynamic, and so people change their perspective depending on the context.
Professor Rai,
the few months have been very noisy for us politically.
Okay, Professor Rai, what's your reading into that? Nasa borderline na sa Senator Amy Marcos. What's your reading? She is a familiar name, so that's a check there. That's a Marcos name. She's incumbent. So what's your reading? Ba't siya bumabagsak?
Well, there could be a lot of factors, no? One is the entry of Ben Tulfo in the list, no? Another is, of course, is the dynamics we saw over the last 2 or 3 months, no? where there's so much infighting and noise among the political elite. And the key players, one of the key players, of course, Senator Marcos, and that fight between the Duterte and Marcoses that was very open, may have affected to some extent her number. That's in the case of Amy Marcos, yeah.
Okay, but it hasn't affected...
Those are the two possible things I'm looking at.
Okay, but that fight hasn't really affected Duterte, I mean, not by much, or Aaron Tulfo, who identifies with the speaker and all that. So, parang bukod tangi itong si Amy Marcos ang malaki ang binagsak. Does it have something to do with public perception about family dynamics, which they don't like to see siblings fighting? I mean, I'm just wondering what the sensitivity of Filipinos there.
That's very possible, you know. That's very possible. I mean, it could be a myriad of factors. But I would agree that maybe within the ruling coalition, the ruling party, that's very open between the candidates. I think it's affected the numbers.
Actually, sir, I was wondering about that. Kasi of all the people in the two camps, si Amy is the one who has a foot in each camp, in both camps. So I would thought nga na she would fare better, considering na she can play with either camp to a certain degree, versus the other ones who have to have talaga a position firmly in each camp.
Kaya lang, baka naapektuhan yung
I think the survey numbers indicate that she has to clarify her position on issues.
Okay.
So I don't think she can play that kind of politics anymore, because there's a polarization as far as the votes are concerned.
So baka parang suspicion on both sides
we have
na.
also data. We also have some data coming out about what is the political affiliation of the public in general. And it's split in the country,
Okay.
no? We'll report that proof,
Parang
no? But something
namamungkas,
like a
dalawang
quarter
ilog.
are for the Dutertes, and another quarter is really for supporting the Marcos administration. So the country is divided.
Professor,
That's a quarter
Professor,
and a
seeing
quarter.
the
What's the
voter
rest?
preference trends, you think there will be room for people na less high profile? Kung high profile tumatao dyan eh. You think there will be room in the Senate race in 2025 to sa mga hindi ganyan kakilala, pero ano na sila, public figures but not that high profile?
I think there is. It's too early to count anyone out. But it will be a tough, it will be an uphill climb for new players. Because this is going to be a very highly contested, a very competitive midterm election in a context that's deeply polarized. So,
Okay.
apart from the fact it will be very expensive to run a campaign this particular midterm, it will be a challenge for any new player, but I'm not counting them out.
Okay.
The progressives can still continue to fight.
Professor Rai, you just mentioned a while ago a quarter for Marcos, a quarter for Duterte. Where's the rest?
Okay, this is unofficial, so I'm releasing it to your show.
Okay.
Okay, so the official report is still being made.
Okay.
Something like 31% are in support of the Marcos administration,
Okay.
and around 20% will support the Dutertes.
Okay. And then the
So
rest?
these are people who are they're not part of the only people who identify with the opposition is around 4%. However they define the opposition. So that's the country today. That's where people are.
So the rest undecided. Ganun po ba?
Yes, the rest are undecided.
Okay.
Alaki rin yun, that's 49%. 31 and 20. You're left with 49%.
Yeah, 31 and 20.
Yes, sir. So, sir, could you break down the other 49 again? Of the 49, how many are, again, how was that again?
Okay, so for those in support of the Marcos administration who affiliate themselves with the administration, is around 31%.
Yes, sir.
Those who affiliate themselves with the Duterte, Duterte family is around 20%.
Yes, sir.
Those who align themselves with what they define as the opposition, not the administration, is 4%.
4%.
The rest are ambivalent.
4%.
4%?
Yeah.
Oh.
The rest are ambivalent.
Well,
the rest are undecided.
given that number,
45%
Professor
are because-
Rhino, should we still refer to them as opposition when clearly the opposition is something else? If you look at the numbers, parang
know,
force of
it
habit na lang
really
ata,
depends on
Professor
how you
Rhino.
define.
We still call them the opposition when it has moved on apparently.
Yeah, I think who we define as the opposition is a contested claim.
Right.
A contested concept. What comprises, what constitutes the opposition is a continuing discussion until now. And who will be part of it is something that's being negotiated at the moment.
Yes, sir.
What seems to be clear is that the Duterte group or a political alliance is positioning themselves as the opposition.
Sir, pasingit lang dalawang questions. Okay, number one, exactly how did you ask the question, sir, if you don't mind? How did you ask the question and how could it...
For
how
that-
did you determine,
for that matter.
Yeah, how did you determine
that issue.
who got 31 and how?
Okay, this is a probe. This is a probe that we are still going to formally report, though. So I will give you a copy of the report.
Yes, sir.
Yun na lang.
When it's
Oo.
formally released by Octa.
Yes,
But
sir.
I'm trying to answer your question that the country is divided along political lines already this early.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they're aligned not based on ideology, program, or ideas, but along
Based on
political
personality.
families.
Okay.
So this is just to answer your question.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
the details I cannot discuss formally right now.
I understand, sir.
But right now, because we don't have a formal report submitted yet. So
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm just giving an advanced top line.
Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir.
you know.
But my second question, I have two questions. Sorry. My second question,
Okay.
the 49% ang natitira kasi 31 and 20, 49%. Of that
Yeah.
4%, 4 percentage points, yung that lumang opposition, that leaves you with 45%. So 45% yung ambivalent, neither here
Yes,
nor there?
yes, sir.
That's a huge...
They're undecided.
Undecided.
They're not part of either the opposition or the administration or affiliated with what they understand to be the Duterte.
Yes, sir. How does that number compare to previous elections? I mean, if there is any such number before. I mean, parang ang laki na 45%.
Dati, overwhelming
but-
Duterte.
Yeah, but this is the first time we're
Okay.
trying to track this.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to organize more probes. So, this is part of our political culture probe. And we're still developing that module. But this is an initial attempt at trying to find out what is the political affiliation of Filipinos at the moment. And it seems that nearly half don't have it's not affiliated with either the administration or the opposition as they define it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Pero ano ba yung description niya, Professor, ng political affiliation?
Marcos
Regional
Duterte
ba
na.
yan? Family? Ano yung maiintindihan ba yun ng mga tao?
Hindi, simple lang yung tanong natin eh.
Personality.
Kayo ba ay sumusuporta sa Marcos administration? Kayo ba sumusuporta sa
okay.
opposition? So these are a
Okay.
series of
So
questions
administration
about
or
what their
pro
preferences
or
are.
hindi naman anti but non-administration.
Okay.
Pero Professor,
Yeah.
saan mo lalagay si Ben Tulfo?
Ako, wag na. Next time na yan, Manny. Pag namasintay na natin, kapos na tayo sa oras, I think we have to go as much as we would like to pursue this line of
Salamat, sir.
discussion. Okay, Professor Ranjit Rai, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Salamat
Thank
po
you.
sa inyo. Salamat.
Thank you,
Salamat.
Professor.
Okay, thanks for joining the Storycon, Philippine Star Editor-in-Chief Ana Marie Pamintuan, and of course, One News Defense Editor Manny Mogato.
Join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Patrick Paez. We are One News, all sides, all the time. Thank you. This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.